Hello friends, welcome to the movie Mindz channel with a new explanation. A family is vacationing on their yacht in the middle of the Caribbean. C, the mother, Julia, jumps into the water to swim. While relaxing, she feels something strange. But since nothing is visible around, she thinks it might be her imagination. A few seconds later, the same weird sensation happens again. This time too, nothing is in sight. But now she panics and starts swimming toward the yacht. Suddenly, something starts pulling her leg, and she begins screaming loudly for help. Her daughter Cassie is listening to music with headphones on, so she hears nothing. Husband Tom and son Ben are busy fishing. Julia tries to stay afloat, but with water entering her mouth, screaming becomes difficult. After a while, Tom realizes he hasn't seen Julia for a long time. He searches for her on the yacht and then spots his wife in danger. He calls the kids. He maneuvers the yacht toward her and jumps into the water. He quickly reaches Julia, supports her, and swims back to the yacht. The kids pull both of them up. The family tends to Julia, but Julia convinces herself that it must have been due to the waves. At night, everyone celebrates Ben's birthday together. Cassie gets a call from her boyfriend, so she takes the laptop and goes outside. On the video call, her boyfriend shows that huge black clouds have covered the city. The call glitches and freezes. Cassie comes to tell the family about it. But Tom says it's probably weak signal because they're far from land. Then everyone hears a sound. They all go outside and see a pod of whales passing by. Tom explains that whales always follow Earth's magnetic field. But when a storm comes, they get confused. Suddenly, the yacht shakes violently and Ben falls. Tom worries that the yacht might be damaged, so he dives underneath to check. After a while, he surfaces. But there's a large wound on his shoulder. Julia immediately stitches his injury. Tom says that underwater, it felt like a massive creature was behind him, but when he turned, he got cut by the propeller. He says whatever it was enormous. Tom sees significant damage to the yacht, so they have to call for help. Julia keeps trying the radio repeatedly. Cassie searches for signal on her phone, but nothing works. Then Cassie spots a strange creature and screams, but it's just Ben wearing a mask, joking around. A while later, the yacht completely shuts down and gets stranded in the middle of the ocean. Julia hears a voice on the radio, but the voice is so distorted that she can't understand anything. Tom tells the family that they only have 4 days worth of food and water left, and now they'll have to wait for a fishing boat. Suddenly, something detects on the radar, and the family hears a strange sound. Everyone rushes outside and watches in shock as numerous meteors are falling to Earth. Wherever the meteors hit, there are massive explosions. One meteor falls into the water near them, so Tom immediately tries to start the yacht. The engine barely starts, but then another meteor hits the area. The family, terrified, holds each other tightly. Then Tom realizes that the fireballs falling aren't meteors, but satellites. At the same moment, Ben sees smoke coming from the yacht. Tom checks and confirms the engine is ruined. The wind picks up, so the family hides inside the yacht. Without noticing that the compass is spinning wildly, the yacht starts shaking violently. Ben falls again, and this time he gets hurt. Waves crash hard against the yacht. Tom struggles outside and brings life jackets. Then the power goes out. Tom quickly presses the power box button and the lights come back on. At that moment, Ben notices Julia's nose is bleeding. Julia starts feeling dizzy. Meanwhile, Cassie vomits at the sink. Tom keeps trying the radio, but no signal. Suddenly, a loud, high-pitched noise comes and the wind gets even stronger. Julia tries to close the doors, but a hatch flies open, and the wind starts breaking windows. Tom lights a flare, and after a while, darkness falls. The next morning, the family wakes up in shock that they survived the storm. But the yacht is half destroyed. When they go outside, they see that the ocean water has vanished, and the yacht is now stuck on land. Everyone is shocked. Cassie checks for signal, but the network is completely down. Ben starts playing with 2 dead crabs. Tom checks the compass and sees it's reversed. This last happened 700,000 years ago. Cassie thinks her boyfriend must have died, and she breaks down. When Julia comes to console her, Cassie pushes her away and goes to hide.
Julia and Tom check the remaining supplies.
Ben ties his birthday balloons to a rock so maybe some survivor will see them. Tom tries the radio again, and this time he connects with a man. His name is Now, and he's a submarine captain. His submarine is also stuck on land. He confirms that the magnetic poles have reversed, so the ocean receded and land is submerged. He says he hasn't seen other survivors yet, and communication systems are completely down. He further says the poles will reverse again, and maybe in a week the ocean will return. He warns the family to climb as high as possible because when the water returns, it will be extremely dangerous. He says his partner died in the crash, and the submarine only has room for 3 people. Julia and Tom beg him, please save our children. He gives them his coordinates. Tom calculates it will take 2 to 3 days to reach the submarine. He tells the family to rest well tonight. Tomorrow morning, we'll leave. The next morning, the family is packing. Then Tom sees something moving nearby. It's a limping man with a harpoon in his hand, and a dog keeps barking continuously. Tom approaches him and offers a water bottle, but the man speaks in a language Tom doesn't understand. After drinking, the stranger suddenly hits Tom on the head with the bottle and kicks him hard in the face. Julia runs in fear, but it's too late. The man has already stabbed Tom in the stomach with the harpoon. Tom writhes for a few moments, then the man cuts his throat too. Then the man chases Julia and throws the harpoon, injuring her shoulder. Julia, enduring the pain, runs inside the yacht and tells the kids to hide. She locks the door. Cassie and Ben crawl inside the sofa. Julia hands them the flare gun and takes a knife herself, hiding in the bathroom. The man pounds on the door and eventually breaks in. First, he grabs some food, then starts searching the yacht. Then he heads to the bathroom. But Julia cleverly escapes through a small opening. The man thinks Julia fled, but as he starts to leave quietly, his dog spots her and starts barking. The dog lunges at her, so Julia stabs it to death. Hearing the dog's yelp, the man comes out and, seeing his dog's corpse, flies into a rage.
Meanwhile, Julia tries to enter from the other side of the yacht.
She climbs up and starts entering through a broken window. But the man reaches there first. He grabs her and punches her hard. She falls down. Julia grabs furniture to save herself. But the man kicks her away. Then he steps on her wrist so she drops the knife, grabs her hair, slams her face into the ground, throws her onto the sofa and starts choking her. The kids are watching everything. Cassie comes out and fires the flare gun, which hits the man directly. He catches fire and the fire spreads in the yacht. The kids immediately run, but Julia comes back. She kicks him down, grabs the map and bag and escapes. Ben and Cassie go to their dad and start crying. Julia joins them and the 3 say a tearful final goodbye to Tom. Then the terrifying man emerges from the yacht again, so the family starts running once more. Shortly after, the yacht explodes with a massive blast. After walking a bit, they stop near a small spring to rest. Cassie thinks the crazy man must have seen the balloons and come to them. Hearing this, Ben starts feeling guilty. Julia explains it wasn't his fault and tells everyone to keep moving because the man is still behind them. On the way, near a small pond, Ben is shocked to see a dead hammerhead shark. Then Julia notices the man is about to catch up. Everyone starts running and falls down a sand dune. There they see toxic waste. The family carefully crosses it and thinks they've shaken the man. As they walk, they start seeing large, dead sea animals and all the plastic accumulated under the ocean. Ben starts walking slowly, so Julia realizes he's close to dehydration. She tells everyone to stop. When she checks the water bottle, she's shocked. The bottle is almost empty. Cassie realizes she probably didn't close the bottle properly. Julia yells in anger that her carelessness wasted the water. Cassie retorts, what difference does it make? We're not going to survive anyway. A long argument ensues between them. Still, the family keeps moving. A while later, they find a crashed plane. Seeing something moving inside, everyone gets scared. But it's just some birds. The family decides to spend the night inside the plane. They share a little snack, and Julia finds a family photo in Tom's jacket. Seeing it breaks her heart. Cassie asks, Mom, what was your and Dad's love story? Julia smiles and tells her, Tom was my patient in the hospital. Then one day he gave me flowers and a sweet poem to express his love. In the middle of the night, Cassie goes outside the plane. Then the terrifying man tries to grab her from behind. But Julia suddenly attacks him from behind and stabs him repeatedly until he's dead. Cassie hugs her mom to calm her. The next morning, insects are crawling on the man's corpse. The family notices many bite marks on his body, meaning some dangerous creature is hiding in this area. As they leave, crabs come out of his mouth. A few hours later, Julia and Cassie are looking at the map, but Ben quietly moves ahead. Julia shouts, stop! But Ben leans over a pond and starts drinking. Julia immediately pulls him out and explains that unknown water can make him sick. The sun gets very intense, so the family covers their heads with clothes. Ben starts feeling dizzy. Then they find some old chairs, and Julia and Cassie make a temporary shelter with them. Julia gives Ben an injection and decides they'll spend the night there. In the morning, Julia wakes to a strange sound. She goes outside and sees a huge swarm of crabs heading toward them. She immediately wakes the kids and all three start running. While running, they spot a large cargo ship. 3 crew members are alive there. One woman wants to help them, but the other 2 men refuse and lock the container, leaving the family outside. The crabs approach. Julia lifts the kids onto the container. When she tries to climb, the crabs bite her leg hard. The kids pull her up, or she would have fallen. Through a hole in the container, half the crabs get inside. The crew members start shooting, but the crabs overpower them and kill both. The last man reaches the roof hole, but the crabs pull him down too and he dies. Julia bandages her wound and passes out. A while later, when she wakes, she finds herself alone in a sandstorm. She panics and starts searching for the kids. She picks up a dead woman's weapon and shouts loudly. Cassie hears her voice and returns, telling her that she and Ben went looking for help but found none. Then both meet Ben, who found an open container where they can stay until the storm ends. Julia takes out Tom's lighter and cauterizes her wound, which is extremely painful. After the storm stops, they find another container with many water bottles. While checking bodies, they find a radio and a gun too. Julia contacts the submarine and says the map is lost. Now says arthropods attacked them. They are now land creatures that have gone completely mad due to oxygen. The submarine tells the family to hurry, because his instruments calculated the ocean will return sooner than expected, and they only have a few hours left. He shoots a flare and the family starts walking in that direction. After a long walk, they find a broken toilet where Ben urinates. Now they finally see the submarine nearby, but to reach it, they have to cross a large rocky path. As they pass through the path, the walls start shaking and rocks fall, causing a terrifying rock slide. Julia immediately pushes her kids to the side and jumps back herself to avoid being crushed. Now a rock wall stands between them. Julia tells the kids to go ahead without her, but Cassie refuses and insists her mom should try to climb. A lot of arguing and shouting happens, and Julia promises she'll find her kids later. Reluctantly, Cassie drags her brother forward. The kids climb the rocky path and run toward the submarine, but upon reaching, they see now lying outside covered in blood. He says it's over for him, and now the kids can take the submarine, thinking there will be one extra spot. Cassie runs back to find her mom. Meanwhile, Julia sees the crabs coming and starts shooting. She kills some crabs. But the swarm is huge and fighting them all is difficult. At that moment, Cassie appears on top of the wall and reaches out her hand. So Julia, despite her injured leg, starts climbing quickly. With Cassie's help, she reaches the other side, and both run toward the submarine. Ben is already standing on top and opens fire to distract the crabs until the family climbs up. The crabs reach Now's body and immediately start eating him. Julia picks up the gun and keeps shooting until the kids get inside. When they're safe, Julia thinks the bullets are out, so she throws the gun at the crabs and goes inside with her kids. The family locks the hatch properly and watches the crabs surrounding the submarine from the window. At that moment, the ocean returns, so all three immediately sit in their seats, buckle up and hold each other's hands. Massive waves start throwing the submarine around violently. This causes Julia to see visions of the entire journey, and Cassie vomits. Soon, the high-pitched sound returns and the family passes out. A while later, Julia and the kids regain consciousness and are happy to be alive. They unlock the hatch and go outside, seeing that the waves have dropped the submarine in a ruined city, meaning there's hope to survive and start a new life, and the movie ends here. Don't forget to subscribe to the movie Mindz channel and press the bell icon so you keep getting such fun videos. Thank you for watching.